Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. In the first story, our OP was lucky enough to accidentally get a warrant for the suspicious guy, so the OP got the moral high ground. Who knows what might have happened? So don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Dude is rude and belligerent, gets arrested. My dad owns and runs several car washes in and near the city I live in, and I regularly help him and my mom out with stuff. Mostly with picking up, sweeping trash, dumping garbage, spraying down dirty self-serve bays, etc. I don't know a lot about fixing things, but they're currently learning to fix changers and stuff and plan on teaching me once they get the hang of it. The main thing that I help them with, though, is checking a few locations after I'm done with my regular job. My current job's with a security company, and I work nights until midnight most days, and until 4 a.m. one day of the week, so it's usually 30 or 40 minutes from the time I get off work, check the car washes, and get home. This particular night, though, I stayed, I think, over an hour and a half. One night after work, I was doing the usual rounds, nothing unusual or suspicious going on. I suppose to be extra cautious lately, mostly because over the past few months, car washes in and around our city have been getting broken into. My dad assumes it's because everyone's staying home, so they can't rob houses anymore. I get to the last location I check on the way home and do the usual routine, drive through the automatic brush bay to make sure no one's hiding behind or messing with the machine parts. Apparently it happened before and it scared the crap out of my dad. Apparently the guy was just trying to get out of the rain. I can see through the touch-free bay, no problem, so no need to go through there. Drive past the vacuum islands and make sure all the timer screens in the self-serve bays are on and not busted in. There's no way to get any money from the 1x2 screen, but hey, people are dumb. As I drove through the brush bay, I saw a car backed in next to one of the vac islands, but I didn't hear the vacuum running. And all of the car doors were shut. That was immediately a, albeit small, red flag. Along with the fact that there wasn't any license plate. Another car was by one of the other islands, also inside the car, but with the car running and headlights on. I kept going and checked the screens and all was good there. I decided to go and park up by the office, and from there I could see the running car from my side view mirror, but shortly after they sat in the self-serve bay for a minute or so before leaving. I can access the cameras from my phone, so I pulled up the single screen view to watch the first car, and after a minute or two of no activity, I called my dad to let him know what was going on. He told me to go back to the vacuums and talk to the guy. I did so, backing into the space next to him on the opposite side of the island and put it back into drive, something my dad told me to do just in case I needed to book it. The guy was in the front seat but twittered around halfway to rummage around in the back. I put my window down and did a quiet honk, the kind to try and get someone's attention, but he didn't turn around even after a couple more times. I waited a bit and he finally turned around. I always try to be polite and give the benefit of the doubt, so I gave a small smile, waved, and motioned him to roll his window down, and he shouted, "What?" with his window still up. So I motioned again. He scoffed at me and shook his head. During this, I was giving my dad a play-by-play to let him know what was happening, as well as trying to keep him from falling back asleep. Eventually, he rolled down his window. Me: "Hello, I noticed you've been sitting here for a while, so I was just wondering if everything was all right." Him: "Through the entire convo, he has this attitude and is passive-aggressive, leaning more and more towards straight-up aggressive. I'm fine. What the F do you want?" My dad on speaker, but my phone isn't loud enough for the guy to hear him, asked him if he's gonna vacuum. Me: Do you plan on vacuuming tonight, or you more just decluttering?" Him, sarcastically: "Yeah, I'm at a car wash by the effing vacuums because I'm not gonna vacuum. It ain't your business." Me, still trying to be polite: "Okay, I'm just trying to..." My dad: "Tell him he needs to vacuum or leave. He's dealt with enough crap, he just gets straight to it. I, unfortunately, am not as confident as him, especially when it's dark out. I'm by myself, and all I have to defend myself is pepper spray." By this point, the guy had already put his window back up and got out to move stuff in the back seat. I could now see another person in the passenger seat, presumably his girlfriend. She was trying to say something, but I couldn't make out what she was saying between the window and my dad talking to me. I don't remember what about at this point. The guy kept making comments about how long I'd been hanging around for, and by this point I was extremely uncomfortable and anxious, and all I could really say to him was something about not wanting to drive and use my phone at the same time. My dad finally told me I can go back to the other side of the building, and from there he told me to call the cops and get a no trespass on both of them. I'm already not a fan of the police, but I've had to call them before for a similar, though much less anxiety-provoking situation, and there's no way my dad would let me not call them down there. There's not much dialogue from this point on, and I couldn't see exactly what was happening since I was trying to stay out of the way once the cops got there, but after a while, they put the guy in the back of one of the cars. An officer came over to tell me they had a warrant for his arrest. The guy's car got towed, and shortly before I left, a police van arrived. I assumed to transport the guy. I don't know why they wouldn't just use one of the 3 cop cars that were there, though to be honest, I don't know a lot about police stuff. I was super anxious throughout the whole ordeal, but it did feel kind of nice knowing that because he wouldn't just be polite, it led to him getting arrested. And our second story. Be a good neighbor. This incident occurred a few years ago, but I still haven't figured out this man's logic. I was looking for my first apartment and came across a 500-foot, 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment for only $760. I didn't have the files I needed or any checks on me, so I made plans to come back the next day and do the paperwork. Sadly, someone else beat me to it, but I really liked the location and perks of the place, so I ended up getting an 800-foot, 1-bedroom, 1-bath for $860 instead. It even had a fireplace, which I knew the smaller unit had not, so I was still happy with it. I ended up moving in a few days before the guy across the hall, let's call him Sam, who got the apartment that I originally wanted. You know, the one that was $100 a month cheaper? On the day Sam moved in, I get a knock on the door. Sam, sorry to bother you, but I'm having trouble getting a table up the stairs. Can you lend me a hand? I wasn't really doing anything, so I agreed. I helped him unpack a table, several chairs, a couch, a bed, and even a pretty big TV. Then I started back to my apartment, and he stopped me. Sam, I don't want to come across as a bad neighbor, but I need to go online to check on work. I have people coming out this weekend to hook up Wi-Fi for me. Do you mind if I use yours? At this point, I figured it was just for a few days and agreed. So I typed my password into his computer and went back to my apartment. Now, as I said earlier, I'd moved in only a few days prior, so I ordered a pizza, as my kitchen had not completely been set up. I just put the pizza on the counter when there's a knock on the door. There was no peephole in the door, so I just opened it, figuring maybe the delivery driver needed something. Nope, it was Sam. Sam, I didn't get a chance to go grocery shopping yet and saw you got a pizza. I hate to intrude, but can I have a slice? Okay, I still wanted to be a good neighbor, so I let him in to get some food. Sam walks in and immediately starts looking around. Your apartment's bigger than mine. Instead of going to the kitchen, literally 8 steps from the front door, he decides to give himself a tour of my apartment. Me. I'm still getting things together, so could you not go into my room? Sam. Even your room's bigger than mine. He walks through the apartment, opening every door. Me. Pizza's in the kitchen, by the door, over here? I'm motioning towards the counter as he gives himself a tour. Sam, finally satisfied by his tour, walks over to the counter, grabs a slice, and leans against the counter. I think I have an idea. Me. Okay. I did not like the sound of that. Just the way he said it seemed wrong. Sam, you should move across the hall and let me live here. Since you're still unpacking, it shouldn't be too hard. My mind went to, okay, so I'd get the cheaper apartment. Sounds okay to me. We could go to the office and get the lease switched at the office. Sam, well, I can't really go anytime soon. I don't think we really need to. Me, this apartment cost about $100 more than yours. If we're swapping, I don't want to pay that. Sam, me neither. So when we swap, you'll keep your name on this lease and I'll keep my name on that one, so we just keep paying the amount we originally are. He explains it very matter-of-factly. Me. Then no. Sam, oh, come on, be a good neighbor. He grabs another slice of the pizza I bought. I sigh, pull out a plate, put a few slices of pizza on it, and push him out the door with the box. To this, he doesn't complain, and I'm trying to figure out how to deal with the neighbor situation. About an hour later, I get my answer. I hear a knock on the door and look out to see Sam holding a box. So I open the door. Hey, figured I'd go ahead and bring over my small stuff. I sigh, rub my nose. Sam, I'm not moving into a smaller apartment so I can pay your rent on a larger one. Sam clenches the box and tried to push past me in the doorway. You're being a pretty bad neighbor. Me. Sam, I can be a bad neighbor. Don't make me. Sam decides he doesn't like this response and yells at me, "You haven't done one effing neighborly thing since I moved in." I slam the door, lock it, and proceed to change my Wi-Fi password. Sam spends 15 minutes pounding on my door before he gives up and goes back to his apartment. Next day, OP knocks on his door. "Hey, can I get one of your kidneys?" WTF, no. Come on, be a good neighbor. And our last story. Burglar calls the cops because the homeowner wasn't doing things right. This story is actually narrated to me by a friend of mine. At the time this happened, my friend was raising her child by herself in a suburb in Texas. The area they lived in wasn't particularly safe, with wild beasties of both human and animal kinds, so friend armed herself with a small pistol and took some gun safety classes to protect her small family. The years go by. Child is now 5, and there was a series of break-ins in the neighborhood, so friend hired a security company to install security cameras around her home. One day, while reviewing footage, friend noticed a strange man lurking around the house. He seemed to wander around a bit and then wandered away. So friend shrugged and carried on with her day. Nothing to worry about, right? Turns out she was wrong. A few days later, friend was working in her home office and saw the same guy walking down her driveway, opened the gate, and entered her backyard. Friend realized the kitchen door was open, child was playing in the living room. Friend grabbed her gun from her purse and ran to the kitchen and got there as the gun calmly walked through her back door. Guy sauntered in, looked around the room to see friend standing there with her gun pointed at him. Guy froze. Friend: "Who the F are you and why are you in my house?" Guy gulped, grabbed his phone, and dialed 911. "Help! I'm standing in this kitchen and some crazy bee has a gun pointed at me." Friend was stunned but didn't put her gun down while calmly telling her child to go play in their room, then stood there, not moving, while staring down the guy who refused to leave. Guy: "You're gonna get it when the cops show up, B." Friend: "You are in my house. Get the F out." Guy actually stayed standing there until the police came into the kitchen. Guy saw the cops and started screaming, "Arrest her! She's crazy! Look, she has a gun on me!" Friend put down her gun and started shaking. "This is my house. You broke in." Cop stopped and stared, looked at the guy. "You broke in?" Guy: "Well, her door was open and then she pulled a gun on me." "That's not how it works. Arrest her for having a gun." Friend: "I have a license. And this is Texas, you idiot." Cops arrested the guy, who was still howling how friend didn't do it right. Apparently she wasn't a proper victim. Friend gave the cops a copy of the video of him sniffing around earlier in the week. Later she figured out he went to jail. "I can't believe you pulled a gun on him. You should be in jail for owning a gun legally and then pointing at someone who tried to steal from you." LOL. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.